we feel it, Bama Nation? Let's go! Wednesday on the hottest show on the streets. Talking Bama football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Live in studios here in the Birmingham area. We got homecoming Saturday, 11 a.m. I know, early morning kickoff. But don't you love it, though? Bama, Arkansas, Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny. ESPN will have the call there for the matchup. But you're rocking and rolling right here. Hottest show on the streets, in my own words, as always. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you tap that subscribe button right now. Hit that subscribe button. Get locked on. Hooked on. The number one thing smoking right here. Talking your Bama football. Also, hit the like button. Give us a thumbs up. Smash the like button. Run those likes. I'm trying to get this thing 15 likes out the gate to start us right here. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat go $100 right there. We appreciate the love and support coming from all of you, and want to hear from you tonight. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358, the number 2. Call in and let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from all of you. But without further ado, Eli, we're jumping into topic number one of the conversation. Coach Saban, not much to say tonight in his press conference prior to the matchup with Arkansas. However, did have some things to say this morning in the SEC coaches teleconference, and one of the things he brought up came on the injury front. Alabama did have a couple of guys get banged up against Texas A&M on last week in a matchup where you get a 26-20 comeback win over the Aggies and rowdy, crazy, rambunctious Kyle Field in College Station. And you get a win there to control the SEC West for the time being. But the two significant players that got banged up, that being Malachi Moore and James Burnap. Malachi Moore, your leader in the secondary at that star position in the nickel package, the best communicator in the defensive backfield, according to one Coach Saban. But, of course, James Burnap, who's having a big year flipping the field as a specialist for your Crimson Tide, improved his yards per punt average from 43.2 a season ago to 48.7 right now. So he's averaging nearly 50 yards per punt, that being one James Burnap. But both guys did suffer injuries there against the Aggies. Malachi Moore, a twisted ankle injury, and then James Burnap, a pulled muscle in his leg. Now, according to Coach Saban, both guys are game time decisions. They were listed, day-to-day, throughout this week of practice, but both guys have been listed as game time decisions for Saturday's matchup. So starting things off here with Malachi Moore. Malachi, game time decision. Here is a guy that's had a strong year to this point. We're talking 31 tackles, talking about 4 tackles for loss this season so far. We're looking at, a critical interception for him against South Florida. And a guy that's all around the football. The communication's there. The drive is there. You can see he's 100% healthy. According to one Jim Nagy, the executive director for the Reese's Senior Bowl down there in Mobile, Nagy talked about Malachi has really increased his stock in terms of the NFL draft. He's in that same frame of Brian Branch from just a season ago. So Malachi, the competitor that he is, the fighter that he is, I see him pushing to go in this match against Arkansas. But if he does not go, if the Tide chooses to rest him until when matchups against LSU and Tennessee and on down the line come into the picture here, if Malachi does not go, then keep your eyes on Earl Little II, who is the immediate backup at that star position. 2 more, Earl Little, the former 4-star who came in the 2022 class, from South Florida, from American Heritage High School right there. Little 6'1", 186 pounds, had a really good spring. We all remember him picking off Ty Simpson in the A-Day game. So there's Earl Little. He's played in about, 4 or 5 games so far, Eli, so he does have some experience on the field to this point. But if Malachi cannot go, watch your eyes on number 20, or keep your eyes on number 20, Earl Little. In terms of James Burnap, once again, pulled muscle in his leg against Texas A&M. I think he will go against Arkansas, but in the event that Alabama may choose to rest him as well, I don't think it does, but if the event should call for it, Will Reichard showed Bama Nation he has no problem pulling double duty against Texas A&M. Reichard not only nailed a 39-yard field goal and proven to be in 12 for 12 on the season on field goal attempts, 18 for 18 on extra point tries, but he also had 5 punts in the game for He had 4 punts, in the game for 165 yards. He averaged 41.3 yards per punt against the Aggies, including a 45-yard punt, the longest of his day, and dropped one of his attempts inside the 20-yard line. So Will Reichard showing you I can do both. And then you have Connor Talty, the freshman who came in this recent class, who can assume the job as well. So Bama's got depth here, whether Malachi and Burnap are not able to go. But I feel like both guys, they both want to be out on the field. They both love this team. They both love to compete. So I see both playing in this matchup here against the Razorbacks, getting set up here for Saturday at 11 a.m. at Bryant-Denny for homecoming. But we go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting you started here on a Wednesday hump day. When we get back, we want to hear from you, the Bama fans. Light us up with your thoughts, with your phone calls, with how you are feeling. We get to you guys right after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break. Number one ticket here for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA on a Wednesday hump day. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio right there. You guys continue to hit that like button, tap the like button right there. Give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button as well. Share the show on every platform. To everybody that you know, make this your spot here for all things Bama football. Gotta shout out my man Adam Lamplero with that $20 donation. Dropping the love there in the bucket there. Appreciate Adam helping us out on the show. And before we go to your calls, call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. We gotta give a word out to our sponsor. This show, this segment, sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Guys, at Underdog Fantasy, I mean, what a job that they do in terms of the fantasy sports here. When you look at Underdog Fantasy. So, here at TDA, we see a lot of you are downloading Underdog, using the promo code and having fun, which we love to see. We love to see that. If you haven't already checked them out, be sure to do so. That's Underdog Fantasy. Check them out. It's super easy to use. You go to the app, and go pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total than what is listed. For example, if Travis Kelce's number is set at 50 yards receiving, and you know Taylor Swift, for all you Swifties out there, and you know Taylor Swift is in the house, you may feel confident he's going to be way higher than that number. Do that with 2 to 5 different players and you're in business. If you go 5 for 5, you can 20 times the money. You can 20 times your account there, 20 times your bank. So sign up today with promo code Alabama and get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with my promo code Alabama to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Underdog Fantasy. Check them out right now. Good people right there. Appreciate those guys. But we now go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Adam calling from Georgia. How are you?
Doing great, Adam. Fantastic. 11 a.m. kickoff. Some fans love them. Some fans can't stand them. But you take on Arkansas for homecoming. You get a game that you can get up, knock it out of the way quick. Guys have the energy getting out of the bed, getting that good breakfast. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. My only comment is this. I'm actually really, really worried about this game because we're just coming off a huge win at A&M, and I feel like this is a trap game. And at Saban's press conference today, he kind of gave this speech at first about players not being complacent or, not deserving anything, which makes me think that at practice they're not giving the kind of effort that they may be giving, or else he wouldn't have said that. And when I think about KJ Jefferson, he's talented. When I think about USC Arizona last week, USC had to go to 3 overtimes to beat Arizona. This game worries me. I think we can win it, but I think it's a trap game. So I think we're going to really have to grind it out. What are your thoughts?
My thing is, Adam, definitely the focus has got to be there because even though Arkansas is 2-4, this team could literally be 4-2, maybe even 5-1. They were right there with A&M to the end. They were right there with Ole Miss. They lost a heartbreaker to LSU. Sam Pittman and those guys have been right there. But at the same time, you almost have to wonder, what's the psyche of Arkansas? When you lose so many heartbreakers like that, where is your mental psyche? Because KJ Jefferson has been back there kind of a sitting duck getting beat up. Their offensive line isn't as strong as we've normally seen Arkansas's offensive line been. Raheem Rocket Sanders, the running back, is coming back from an injury. You really don't know where Arkansas is. Now, once again, this gives you no measuring stick to take them lightly, and Nick Saban's not doing that. But you almost have to wonder, where's their psyche too?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think if we come to play with the same focus that we have with A&M, we're going to win. I just hope that we do that because I think we can win out, and I think we're going to beat Georgia in the SEC championship if we keep this focus. So roll tide, Steven. Great talking to you.
Appreciate Adam calling in here from Georgia, getting us started here on a Wednesday. Alabama's not taking Arkansas lightly. We know Nick Saban doesn't do that. My thing is, when you lose so many heartbreakers, it kind of wears on you. So you have to wonder, where is Sam Pittman and where is this Arkansas team mentally coming into this matchup right here, especially when Alabama's hurt all offseason. You're not tough anymore. You're not physical anymore. You're not dominant anymore. And now Alabama's really finding itself here these last few weeks or so. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling?
Steve, what's going on? This is Brandon from Mobile, Alabama.
Brandon, what's happening, man?
Nothing much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show. I just kind of wanted to definitely say a couple of things about the team. I think they're doing an awesome job, especially going from the USF game, from the Texas game, a lot of improvement. Somebody that I hope Saban them kind of look at and see he's definitely somebody we could use. possibly moving forward, Jaden Roberts. Jaden Roberts had an awesome game,
Absolutely.
He's somebody that I think, you know, could challenge the Alcourt. If not, hey, keep the job at this point. I also saw a good amount of rotation with Elijah Pritchard coming in for Caden Proctor. I thought that was pretty solid from Pritchard's end, but you know, I think Caden's still doing a pretty solid job on that side. As far as just our receivers in general, I think Jalen Milroe is doing a great job getting the ball to him. I like to see Malik Benson get a little bit more involved in the offense, but Isaiah Bond is a monster. He's balling. I think Burton's balling, and you know, I love to see us get Amari Knoblack more back in there. I honestly think Amari Knoblack's without a doubt a top 5 tight end in the game. Just my opinion based off, he reminds me a bit of Kyle Pitts from Florida. But yeah, man, I think this team is definitely, somebody told them something. I don't know if it was alumni, you know, coaching. This team is totally different. And not only from the players, but the coaches also. The coaches have definitely made this team just look so different. What do you think, Steve?
Brandon, I'm going to say this, and Eli, you can vouch for me on this. Eli did not say that Knoblack is a bigger Kyle Pitts. I said he's a more physical Kyle Pitts, and I think Alabama's going to have to utilize Knoblack a lot more, especially down the stretch here. But Jaden Roberts is a grown man. If you look at him physically, physically he reminds you of DJ Fluker. I don't know if it's just me, but physically, Jaden Roberts reminds me of DJ Fluker. And Saban highlighted him after the A&M game. So I'd like to see more of Jaden Roberts used. I think he can be a massive weapon for this team in the run game. I really think he can. Now, defensively, I think this team has turned a switch since the South Florida game. And then at wide receiver, I want to see more of Malik Benson. I don't know what's happened with Ja'Cory Brooks. I really don't know. I would like to see more of Malik Benson. But I think Burton and Bond have kind of separated themselves as, you can trust us. Like Burton saying, you can trust me. Bond is saying, okay, you can trust me. So who becomes that third guy that Jalen Milroe goes, I can trust this guy? Could Jalen Hale, the freshman, become that guy? Can Malik Benson finally get more so involved? I would like to see a number 3 guy say, okay, you can trust me too.
Absolutely, Steve. Man, just a little bit more I wanted to kind of break down with as well. The D-line, man, I was wrong about, you know, us trying to find that Deron Payne, you know, that Ashawn Robinson. Man, Tim Keenan has arrived. Tim Keenan has definitely arrived. You know, we all looked at Jaheim Otis being that possible next guy, but I think Tim Keenan has definitely surpassed that. Linebacker core is definitely coming together. In my opinion, I think, honestly, the 2 starting linebackers to me should definitely be Campbell and 32. I can't even say his name, but
Lawson.
Those 2 should be our guys. Yes, Lawson. Those 2 should definitely right around the corner over in Theodore, came out of Theodore High School. But those 2 should definitely be our guys for sure, in my opinion. Just everybody else, the core, just secondary looks good. Kool-Aid played okay this past game. TA is definitely our guy. He's definitely number 1 corner in my opinion. Kool-Aid is something about Kool-Aid's game right now, man. That's just, I don't know if it's just lazy body language or what it is right now, but I know Kool-Aid's he's definitely a talented player, man. I just want to see more from Kool-Aid. He's not playing like that top 10 NFL pick that, you know, he's being projected as. And I know Kool-Aid can play. I know he can ball. But yeah, other than that, shout out to Caleb Downs. That dude is a beast. You know, I hear a lot of the Mika Fitzpatrick comparison. I see it, man. This kid is just on a whole nother level as a freshman. I can't even tell you the last time I've seen a freshman on the defensive side of the ball that's just been going in like this. So other than that, I appreciate you having me on the show, Steve. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Brandon calling in from Mobile there on a Wednesday. We continue with calls. We grab this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from?
Steve, my boy, how you doing? Jada Roberts calling from Raleigh.
Man. Hey, G, what's going on, G?
What's good, my boy? How you doing?
G, you've been saying for a while, Saban needs to start playing these real players out here. Will he finally? I don't know if he's been phone tapping your conversations with me or what, but he put Jaden Roberts out there against A&M, and look what happened.
I want to say something, and it's funny because I know I've learned all the football I know from watching Bama and from watching Pittsburgh for like 10 years straight at this point. So it's winning looks the same on every team. You can even look at the San Francisco 49ers. Winning looks the same on every team. So when you look at the O-line, most people look at the O-line as one unit. I look at it as two because you got island guys, which is your tackles, and then you got the meat and beef in the middle, which would be the guard in the center, right?
Right.
And I always talk about the kids. You know, these are kids. You know, everybody's under 22, 23, whatever the case may be. So it's no knock to any kid, right? But I don't have a personal relationship with any of them, so I could just look at easily to say who's the better guy. There's a reason why Dalcourt has lost his position 3 years in a row. And every time we have, had him in the lineup, the issue has been the same. You got to remember, Seth McLaughlin spared him. We couldn't run the ball when he was playing center. We moved him to guard. Then you had two guards take his spot. You had Booker take his spot. And now you have his third go-around, who should have been playing since day one. Jada Roberts took his spot. And, like I said, there's no knock to the guy, but the proof is there. We seen Jada Roberts play in the spring game, and we all knew he should have been out there. But I want to apologize to J. Rob because he had a perfect game until I had the fellas over here watching the game, Steve, and once he got out there and the game was kind of won, we was trying to milk the clock on that second to last drive. And I'm out there cussing in the living room. Hell yeah, I told you J. Rob should have been out there. Oh, no, what Saban doing? He should pay me to come down there. Woo-woo. Just talking shit with the fellas. And then as soon as I did that, J. Rob got on, did the little, what's it called, the snap refraction. So I said, my fault, J. Rob. That was me that did that. Anytime you big up something on TV, they miss their free throw. So it was good to see. I'm
not going out. G, I did the same thing. Don't feel bad. I sat there, G, and I was big up in the defense the whole time against A&M. And once I big up the defense, that's when Bama, Chris Braswell blocks the field goal, takes it back for a touchdown. I'm like, look at this defense. And then there's the flag on Dallas Turner for a block in the back. I'm like, come on now.
We just got to hold on, Steve. We just got to hold on to the game moment, Steve. We messing the boys up. But, like, I'm fair. So, I've also called up here and called out, Roach. But, hey, man, I got to call a spade these last three games. Roach has the D-line playing like the D-line. Tim Keenan is looking great. Tim Smith is stepping up. And the two outside guys this year, I feel they're taking it on themselves to wreak havoc on quarterback. These last 3 weeks, Dallas and Braswell they've been looking real. What's the outside linebacker we've had? 56. Tim Smith?
Tim Smith and Ryan Anderson. Or Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson.
Okay, there you go. They're starting to look like them boys. They're starting to look like that duo. That was the last power. Hold on, no. Well, who was Terrell Lewis? Who was Terrell Lewis? Who was his duo with?
He had Anthony Jennings. Anthony Jennings.
Okay. So, no, that wasn't as electric as the Anderson and the Tim. So this unit is starting to rival that Anderson and the
Tim Williams.
So, like I said, Tim Williams. There we go, Tim Williams. So I'm proud, man. I think the defense is what me and you been asking for. Me and you have never worried about Jalen Milroe. If you really want to say it, me and you don't say Milroe gonna win the Heisman way back in the spring. So we ain't worried about Milroe. Me and you have always wanted the defense to win the games for us again. And Steve, I think we have a defense that can win it all for us. Appreciate you, Steve.
Appreciate my man G from Raleigh calling in right there on a Wednesday, and we'll take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's up, Steve? How you doing, man? This is Austin from Georgia.
Hey, Austin, how we feeling?
I'm doing all right. I know last time I came in here, I was a little passionate. But I'm kind of feeling the same way. I think this year is reminiscent of 2016. We had Jalen Hurts. And I love Milroe. It's just the progression is still not as quick as it needed to be. As Bama, we used to average 40 points a game. When was the last time we dropped 40? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that take that game was way too close. So. And I feel like the teams that we play, we should blow them out. You got the talent. So what's your take on that?
I know that there've been some close games here for Alabama, and I know a lot of the fans would like to see this team put up 40, put up more points in the scoreboard. But I go back to something Coach Saban mentioned in the offseason, wanting more balance, wanting more dominance defensively, wanting to control the games a bit more. So he's getting what he asked for in the preseason. But appreciate Austin there from Georgia for that call into the show. But Saban's getting what he wanted from the preseason. He wanted more balance. He wanted more defensive control. He wanted guys to be more stern, be more forceful in the trenches. So that's happening on the defensive front. Offensive front, you're still polishing some things up there. But I think as we hit the second half of the season, this offensive line is definitely going to have more of its pieces in place here. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, I'm doing good. It's Bill from New York. How are you, man?
Doing good, my man Bill. Doing great. We got an 11 a.m. kickoff between Bama and Arkansas. Some people love 11 a.m. games. Me, sometimes I wonder, why is the game that early? But at the same time, I'm like, just get the guys on the field and I'm playing them and go back home.
Well, I'm going to be there. We're flying out Friday, and we're flying, we're driving,
Let's
we're
go.
doing everything.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Lifelong dreams, Steve. You know, and you know, I can't wait for this game. First of all, I want to compliment you on this guy, Tim Keenan. You know, I never heard of him coming into the season. I heard you talk about him. I looked him up. It said he was a 3-star. Could you imagine how hard this guy's working? Because he's penetrating. He's like occupying blockers. He's doing everything. That guy.
He is. And what's crazy, Bill, Tim Keenan had a leg injury his senior year of high school at Ramsey High here in the Birmingham area. So he didn't play his full senior year. So he comes to Alabama as a freshman, has to redshirt to get himself healthy. And then he has his full body transformation where he drops about 28 pounds to get himself into shape. So you talk about a guy that didn't play his full senior year because of a leg injury, drops weight, and now he's like 315 pounds of muscle, but he also has some quickness to him too, and he's got a hunger about himself.
Oh, that's great. That's great scouting by Bama and great scouting by you. Tell you the truth, but you know, my man Braswell. Do you know? I don't know if I said this before. I saw not once, twice. He pushed a lineman into the quarterback and knocked them both down. Yeah, and he's a linebacker. This isn't like a 300-pound guy doing that. He knocked them down like they were bowling pins. Look, we're going to crush this team. We're going to beat them up. I even hope we get a big enough lead to put some subs in because, look, you know how it is. Guys get hurt, you know, and you want to have the backups ready. We can't lose this game, and we're not going to. We're going to just walk right over them, you know. And thanks for taking my call. I'm going to finish packing. Pumped.
Appreciate my man Bill from New York calling in right there. He's coming. The Big Apple is coming to Tuscaloosa for this Alabama-Arkansas game. It's going to be fun seeing Bill at this game. It's going to be fun seeing Bill from New York, Eli, at this game. Oh, man. We got some super chats to get to. So, Eli, let's get the horn going. So, we start this off with, okay, scroll it up, Eli, so we can see that first name there. Here we go. We got Eddie Rhodes. Let's go with a $50 donation from Eddie Rhodes. Dropping that in there. And then we got Eric Beasley. EB with the $10 donation. Dropping that love in the bucket. Appreciate that from EB. And then Bill from New York rounds us out right here with the $5 donation. Appreciate my man Bill dropping that love in the bucket there. So, we got a cool call segment. Cool call topic right here. This one goes to, we got two great Bama alums at quarterback going at it on CBS NFL Sunday. Bryce Young, Tua Tagovailoa going at it. Oh, mama, it's going to be a good game. We got Dolphins, Panthers Sunday. Like today, Mike McDaniel, Dolphins head coach, at a press conference, talked about Bryce Young, what he likes about this young man, what intrigues him about Bryce, what impresses him about Bryce, and then at the same time, McDaniel is coaching Tua, who's having an MVP-like season so far. Now, I get it. The Dolphins recently lost to the Bills. Not the best game there, but aside from that, Miami's been having a good season. The Panthers looking for their first win. Tua, Bryce. Got to be in a TV set Sunday, Eli, to check this game out. The Bama great quarterbacks under Coach Saban going at it right there. But we're going to go to a break right here, folks. For all those still in the call-in queue, hold on for the next 10 minutes or call back in the next 10 minutes. When we get back, we're going to discuss why it's time to start praising Kevin Steele for what he has done with this Alabama defense. We'll talk Coach Steele after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break on a Wednesday. Hump Day, hottest show on the streets, #1 ticket for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got my man Eli, the veteran Walker, in the house in that production studio right there. You guys continue to hit that like button, tap that subscribe button, make this your spot for all things Bama football. And that daily super chat go, $100 daily super chat go. We appreciate all of you making this your spot for all things Bama football. But Eli, second topic of conversation. How about some love for Kevin Steele right now? How about some flowers for Kevin Steele right now? I'm just saying. The job he has done with this defense, Nick Saban got it right. Nick Saban got it right, bringing Kevin Steele back home to Tuscaloosa. Saban got it right. Now, early in the offseason, the #1 name we all thought was coming back home was Jeremy Pruitt. That was the name. That was the name we all thought, if Pruitt comes back to Bama, set the world on fire, put an APB out for college football, Bama's taking over, Pruitt's coming back home. When the news happened that, when the news happened that he gets hit with the 6-year show cause by the NCAA, for what happened at Tennessee, they were all like, well, who's Bama going to get? Bama brings in Kevin Steele. And For some people, it was, I don't like this. I don't like the move of Kevin Steele. Why? His most recent stop was at Miami. Miami didn't really do much of anything. He's 65 now. The game's probably passed him by. We need one of these young and innovative and proven, but a guy that these guys can relate to in this NIL transfer portal culture. Is still the guy that we need to be going after right now. It was mixed feelings. There was a lot of mixed feelings when it came down to Kevin Steele. And despite that, look at what he's done. I know people go to the Texas game and they go, well, Steven, Bama lost to Texas 34-24 in week 2. The Alabama defense for much of that game held Texas to 13 points. Held Steve Sarkisian to 13 points. The only problem was the offense was scattering and sputtering and didn't know what it was supposed to do. So quite naturally, the defense ended up getting tired. It wasn't their fault. However, from the South Florida game to right now, Kevin Steele has had this team beating up opponents like a drum in the second half. I just want to say this. In the second half of games, think about this for a moment. In the second half of games, Alabama's defense in the second half shut out South Florida, right? Alabama's defense in the second half shut out South Florida. In the second half, you give up 3 points to Ole Miss. You give up 3 points to Lane Kiffin in the second half. Bama defense in the second half literally gives up 7 points to Mississippi State. Bama defense in the second half gives up 3 points to Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. In the second half, the adjustments that Kevin Steele has made have been remarkable. This defense is night and day different under Steele versus Pete Golden. Pete Golden, we're looking at 5 years of 3rd and Golding. We're looking at 5 years of dropping people back into coverage that shouldn't have been dropped back into coverage. We're looking at 5 years of not being physical, not being tough, looking soft, getting dominated, getting overpowered. 5 years of that dealing with Pete Golden. Now, Kevin Steele, you're seeing a defense that's attacking. You're seeing a defense that's being bullies again. You're seeing a defense that's being the aggressor. You're seeing a defense that's getting after everybody and everything. And oh, by the way, Eli, you're seeing a defense that last week, check out the accountability of Deontay Lawson and Dallas Turner. You're seeing that again. Like, how about that? The job Kevin Steele has done. This Alabama defense ranks in the top 5 in sacks right now. I mean, don't look. This Bama defense is one of the tops in the nation in sacks right now. You look at this Bama defense under Kevin Steele, look at the job that Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell have been doing, affecting the quarterback. Now, I'm not going to put those two on the same level just yet as Ryan Anderson, Tim Williams, that duo. That duo was just insane. Like, I watched that duo up front, up close and personal. And that group had Bo Davis. I'm just saying. So, I'm not going to put Dallas and Braz with Williams and Anderson just yet. They're getting there. But I'm not going to put them right there just yet. However, I will say Kevin Steele has this defense mean, nasty, aggressive, competitive, feared again. He has that. He has done that. So where all 3 levels of this defense are getting after you. Defensive line is getting after you. Linebackers are getting after you. Secondary is making plays. And at the end of the day, That's all you want as Bama fans, to have a defense make plays again. That's all you wanted. I mean, even last week, guys, with the blocked kick getting called back, wasn't that fun? You saw an Alabama defense block a field goal and take it back to the house. Yes, it got called back, but wasn't that some great action right there? Wasn't that some great action seeing Justin Aboigbe and other members of the defensive line force that safety last week? How cool was that? Wasn't it cool watching Caleb Downs, the freshman, get a marquee interception? I mean, how great was that right there? You're seeing the defense make plays again and make pivotal plays again and enjoying making pivotal plays again. Kevin Steele, Nick Saban did right bringing this man back in the program because, and this is my opinion, and we're all kind of seeing this, Kevin Steele is pushing a defense that can win a national championship. He is pushing a defense that can get to a national championship and win it. They got to continue to stack together strong performance after strong performance. Because after Arkansas, you got LSU, you got Tennessee, you got Auburn, and provided you make it to Atlanta, there would deny Georgia. But this team is trending up, up, up with each passing game. And so it's time to give that kudos to Kevin Steele and the job he is doing here with this defense. But we take a break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return those phone lines. We get your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Hey, hit us up. We want to hear from you after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back into the action from the break on the number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys in here right now. Continue hitting that like button, tapping that thumbs up right there, smashing the like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Make this your network platform, channel, space, avenue for all things Crimson Tide football. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate my man Eli Walker right there in the production studio, handling that business. Appreciate Ty Alexander with that $9.99 donation, dropping that in the bucket. Thanks to Ty Alexander right there. We go to your phone. We go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Michael from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Michael. Doing well, but how are you feeling, my man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Steven, that Peters has your man Burton been drinking on some of that Jesus juice?
Man, look, I don't know if he's drinking Jesus juice, pimp juice, crock juice, whatever he drinking, put it in the man cup. Because the man draft stock is chirping, it's growing. So whatever Jermaine Burton is drinking, continue to keep that cup on full.
That's good. But, Stephen, I just want to talk about, you were saying earlier about it feels like Bond and Burton has kind of become the guys, receivers that you can depend on now. And you said, who's going to be that third receiver to step up? And, Jalen Hale, Shaz Preston, Kobe Prentice, Malik Benson, all those guys I believe will have opportunity to step up. But if there's anybody I believe could be the third star I believe can step up, I'm trying to go to Maury Nightblack to be that guy. I think that he will be that guy at tight end to step up and give us, that third receiver that we can have. Once they get that third receiver, I think Bama you will see the three-head, we call the three-headed snakes of Nightblack, Bond, Burton, McClellan, Williams. I mean, they could be anybody to me. But my question was, how did you feel about, overall about the game and about how the defense takes it? It looked like this defense is back to where it should be.
I'm very proud of this defense, Michael. I'm very proud of this defense. And I mentioned this in the second topic of the show here. It's time to really give kudos to Kevin Steele. There were a lot of mixed feelings when he was hired. A lot of people felt like, okay, great move by Saban, old school guy, has been at Bama before, knows what Saban likes, knows what Saban wants to have done with this defense. But then there were others that felt like, but his last coaching stop was Miami. It did not go well. It did not go the way Steele would have liked for it to go. Has the game passed him by? So there were a lot of mixed feelings. But seeing him in person and seeing this defense in person, you cannot tell me that this is not night and day significantly better than what Bama had with Pete Golding. This is significantly better. You're seeing a defense attack. You're seeing the defense create turnovers. You're seeing the defense create fear in quarterbacks and running backs again. This is what you want to see from the get-go. This is what you want to see, and Kevin Steele has brought that. And it's not just him. Robert Bama, as the inside linebackers coach, to me, looks like one of the more sneaky good hires Saban has made in the last few years. Robert Bama has these inside linebackers playing big ball. When you talk about what he's done with Deontay Lawson, Transman Marshall, Jahad Campbell, these guys are playing unbelievable. So Robert Bala, kudos to him. Travaris Robinson's done a great job in that secondary. And then, like I mentioned, Freddie Roach, I don't know what switch he's flipped up with this defensive line, but keep that switch flipped up because those guys have been playing their best these last few weeks here as well. So I'm proud of this defense. But I agree with you, Michael, in terms of that third receiving option. Amari Niblack's been chirping. He needs to kind of get that ball more and be targeted a bit more. So I would look at Niblack to potentially be that number 3 guy.
And lastly, Stephen, and, I touched on this before, and like I said, I kind of felt like the pieces were starting to come into place there, with the change. And Seth McLaughlin, there's no doubt that this man has talent. There's no doubt about that. But I've said it before, he's lacking something that we need in that offensive line. And so when we saw Elijah Pritchett and Roberts in there, I said immediately to myself, we need a change at that position. Because Proctor, Booker, Latham, we know what these guys are going to give us. We know what they're going to give us. These are big 350-plus pound tackles. But we need McLaughlin because he's the senior. He's got the experience. We needed him to really play more and become more physical. And he's not giving that. He's not giving that to us. So my question to you, Stephen, is like, are you okay with seeing more Pritchard and Roberts in these games?
Michael, if you were to remove McLaughlin from center, he's gotten better with the snapping since he was better with the snaps last week against A&M. But but if you were to remove McLaughlin from center, would you put Terrence Ferguson at center? And if you would put T. Ferg at center, then that would open up left guard to where you could have Jaden Roberts at left guard, and that would give you your two 2021 class offensive linemen both out at the same time, which would be T. Ferg and Jaden Roberts, because Terrence Ferguson, he has had reps at center in practice. And Jaden Roberts, I mentioned this before, when you look at him physically, kind of reminds you of a DJ Fluker, but appreciate Michael from South Carolina for that call. If you were to go away from McLaughlin and put a T. Ferg at center, I can see that. But I think with Seth, he has gotten better with the snapping. We saw an improvement there against A&M. We didn't see bad snaps there in the A&M game, or just visibly bad snaps there against A&M. So hopefully Seth can continue to push toward building on top of the A&M game. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
How's it going, Steve? This is Jay from Pensacola.
What's going on, Jay?
How you doing? How you feeling?
Man, Jay, I'm well. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I mean, I look back at this Texas A&M game, and the way the defense played, especially in the second half, the growth that we saw from Jalen Milroe, showing you if I got to win the game throwing this rock, I can win the game throwing this rock. So we saw growth from Milroe. We saw a defense shut down A&M in the second half. I'm ready for this Arkansas game.
I am too. You know what? I'm actually coming to that game. So yeah, right now I'm on the road. I'm headed to Kentucky, but I'm going home Friday, and we're coming to the game Saturday. I am so excited. It's my second game I've been to. I work a lot, so I don't get a chance to come to many games. But I took off specifically to come to this homecoming game. And I can't wait. I'm excited. I hope I get a chance to see you and see everybody else and see Bill. I can't wait. Side note, anyway, Tua is the only Alabama quarterback who's facing all three other quarterbacks. He got to face Bryce, he got to face Mac Jones, and he got to face Jalen Hurts. All in one season.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Jay. Did Mike McDaniel put that in the schedule for Tua?
I have no idea. I was saying to myself, I seen it on Twitter. I was like, "This is crazy." He the only Alabama quarterback that I faced all other three. Like, that's crazy. Like, how did you do him like that? I'm just wondering,
did Chris Greer, the GM, and Mike McDaniel kind of put that in the contract? We're gonna make Tua face them guys.
I agree. I think he did on purpose. I have a question. So you remember the past Alabama teams? You know, they was second half team. You know, they'll mess up. They'll be slow in the first half, but the second half they'll come off. And this is so far what I'm seeing this season from our team. Like, for instance, the Ole Miss game. In the first half, it was slow. But the second half, that's when they turned up. This Texas A&M game. First half, they was slow. Second half, they turned up. And then I would like to put the running game of Mississippi State game and the passing game of Texas A&M game together. If we can put those together, they will make us a complete team.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think Tim he can be another Max Crosby of the Raiders. Max Crosby was a 4th round draft pick, and he led the whole NFL in sacks and pressures last year. And like you said, he was recruited as a 3-star. I feel like he's gonna be the sneaky one to just dominate, and he's gonna be there for us. What do you think?
I really, Jay, I really like Tim Keenan. I think this man's growing. I think he's developing. I think he's starting to really show up and show out at the right time. He needed to cut some weight. He cut the weight, got himself healthy, got himself in shape, is staying in shape. Very proud of that young man. Happy to hear from Jay from Pensacola taking his call here on the show. We grab this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steele, what's happening, man? I'm trying to holler at you, man. See what's going on.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm just trying to feel this right here, man. The defense is legit. Defense is legit. Got no problem with it whatsoever. But when do we get to see Haynes? When do we get to see a baller like Haynes come in? He's the guy that can take the offense and just level it out. Haynes, that's the man. When do we get to see Haynes?
That's the biggest question a lot of fans are asking. Where is Justice Haynes? And to me, it's this in the spring. Saban couldn't stop talking about him, and we saw him in the A-Day game score 3 touchdowns. I go back to the Mississippi State game. Eli, you and I were both there. He had a run where he bounces off guys and picks up about 20 yards. He has a way of making a hole when a hole is not there. And you only get very few running backs that can do that can make a hole when one is not there. And I, for one, look at, with it being the second half of the season, this would be the ideal time to turn him loose. But once again, that ball is put in the court of Coach Saban. When does he decide, okay, let's let this 5-star freshman loose here? I talked about him in the spring. I pumped him up in the spring. I've put him out here, sort of late in games when the games have already been decided. But now that we're in the second half of football, it's time to get these guys who are fresh. Let's put them out there and really see what they can do here.
Absolutely. The McClellan and Rodale court showed a lot of promise. A lot of good things going on. But when it comes to Haynes, man, he shows like a Alvin Kamara feel. Just a bum rush. You can't knock me down. If you get me, you better get a lot of people to get me down. Why can't we see him even in the intermediates? Why can't we see him at all? Because he has been Alvin Kamara is Haynes. Haynes is Alvin Kamara. He is just a juggernaut.
Hopefully we can see more of Justice Haynes in the second half of the season. Appreciate that call right there. I mean, Coach Saban talked about him in the spring. Pumped him up in the spring. I mean, this is a guy that had over 7,000 career rushing yards, 95 touchdowns in high school, Buford High School in Georgia. The man is not the talent with Haynes. The talent is all there. For me, is Saban choosing to wait till this part of the season where you can get a guy that can really just wear down the opposition? Hopefully that's the case. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Dexter from Virginia.
What's going on, man? How we feeling?
Pretty good, Steve, man. I heard you talking about the defense tonight and last week, and you mentioned the young freshman Caleb Downs. I like him a lot, Steve, and y'all comparing him right now to Minka, and I think we misdiagnosing him right now. How about a young Landon Collins so far?
I can do that too. Now, I can do that too. Now, Dexter, I'll say this. I remember I was having a conversation with Christian Jones, former Bama wide receiver, before the season started. And Christian Jones was telling me the practices that he went to in the preseason. Christian Jones told me, he said, Steven, look, man, this number 2, this Caleb Downs kid, I'm going to say this, he remind me of my senior year, the freshman year, when Landon Collins was out there. 2014, when Landon was out there. And Landon Collins, he was already different. He was already a difference maker. He was already a different type of dude. He kind of remind me of a more, I guess, versatile Landon Collins. And that was what Christian Jones told me from the get-go.
Okay. I see that. Now, Minka was special. Minka gave you a little bit of cornerback as well. And I don't think Caleb's ready for a cornerback right now.
True point. Fair point. So I can see from Christian Jones's viewpoint a more versatile Landon Collins. Because I remember when Landon first got to Bama, Landon was more so of the coverage box safety. He had to grow into covering guys.
Mm-hmm.
But with Caleb Downs, we're seeing the hitting ability and the coverage ability early in his career. But appreciate my man Dexter from Virginia giving us his thoughts here on the show about one Caleb Downs. And, Caleb is playing as a freshman right now, leading the team in tackles, leading the team in interceptions with 2. This guy's a ball hog. This guy, instincts on point out there on the field. But we grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay up in Smithfield.
Jay, what's going on, brother? What's going on?
Man, Dexter stole my comparison, man. I was so finna call it and say, man, he don't look nothing like Minka. He look like a young Landon Collins. But check this out though, Steve. Man, you sound like you finna get a little cold there, my boy. You need to get some Colies. It's a little piece of candy, man. It's supposed to help you stop a cold and stuff like that.
You know what? I'm writing that down. I write that down. I'm writing that down now myself. Writing that down.
Yeah, on the paper it say cold E's. It got a bunch of E's on it, man. Them little things, they powerful. Yeah, they help. But man, y'all, you know I'm always the one, man. I can't really give Kevin Steele all that just yet, man. Yeah, I don't think he deserves all that praise just yet. Cause see, it's still a level like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 notches that this defense need to go and turn it up to that we done seen Alabama defenses have for the whole season. You know what I'm saying? And I understand you just got there and all of that. Everybody gonna give you 1,000,001 excuses and stuff. But man, I think we can step up a whole lot more on that defense because Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? He looking very suspect. Like he's looking like he could be picked on right now. And I hate to say that, but it's like, dang, the whole opposite side of the field is flipped. Like people don't even think about throwing that Terrion no more.
I'm Terrion a dog. He's a flat dog out there in the field. I mean, Terrion, and what people don't realize, the fact that he never played corner in high school. He never played corner. Was primarily a safety. He was forced to play corner last year and did a pretty good job of it. And now the growth from last year to this year, Terrion's become a lockdown defender. Kool-Aid, you kind of wonder, where is he sometimes?
Yeah, and man, our offense, man, I'm glad, I wasn't on the Milroe train. I wasn't to start the season, but, to watching the man play and watching how he grown and really seeing Buckner that little game and Ty, man, this is the best we got. It's the coordinator, man. It's the freaking coordinator. The coordinator sucked. Tommy Rees sucked. I don't care how many 300-yard games Jalen Milroe have if we don't get number 26 yards rushing with 350-pound linemen. That don't even make sense nowhere in the history of football. 26 yards rushing, man? You mean to tell me, big boy, you couldn't move somebody out the way so this man could fall forward to average 2 yards? And we get 56 yards rushing or something? Like, come on, man. What I'm saying is, it's the style of run plays that this man calling. These boys is too big for you to be calling, pulling plays left and right. And these folks need to be moving straight forward. The end zone ain't nowhere near the sideline. It's either behind you or it's straight ahead of you, man. And I don't understand why Tommy Rees don't understand that, man. We biggest offensive line in the game of football right now. I ain't gonna have them. He's more. Why move sideways, man? That don't make sense, man. We need better coordinated creativity, y'all. And the Natty will be ours easily, man, because it's wide open this year. And we need to go. This gonna be the end of a whole lot now, y'all. This is gonna be the end of a bunch of conferences as we know it. College football changing as a whole. But one thing need to remain the same. Alabama whooping ass and winning the national championship. We turn the page and now they gonna say, dang man, Bama won the last college football with the last 4. Now they gonna come in and start winning the 12. You see what I'm saying? But roll tide, man. I love y'all, man.
Appreciate Jay, man. Jay is some. There's just some phone calls, Eli, that you just look forward to. Now I look forward to all the calls, absolutely, I do. But there are just some that they come through and it just really pick up your spirit, man. Really pick up your spirit there. I also want to say this though. I also want to appreciate all of you, the fans, for Monday's show as we did that from the home remote location. And a lot of you had your concerns for me as I was pushing through some cold germs there, trying to give you guys a phenomenal show, and the thoughts and the concerns that you guys have for me, I definitely appreciate that. Feeling a whole lot better now than what I was Monday, of course. You guys can tell that by how I'm sounding here on the show. But we're going to continue with calls right here. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. It's Clark from Georgia. How you doing this evening, brother?
Doing fantastic, man, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. I got in touch with you Monday during the little live chat show, if you will. I think it was very good of you to go to the effort to do that, man. I appreciate all the work that you do and the guys involved with the show that we don't see. But just to get to the game for this Saturday, as one of the guys was talking about earlier, I think it's important to remember as we go forward in this season, guys like Justice Haynes are going to be given, they're going to be given the Najee Harris, the Derrick Henry, and, you could argue probably how Terry Grant was treated in 2007. Terry Grant was not an Alabama running back. He was a Mike running back that happened to be there. He was useful in 2007, but as soon as we got our guy in there, Mark Ingram and Glenn Coffey never looked back. Justice Haynes is one of the most elite running backs ever. He's going to get the chance to play, and I think Saban's keeping him off of film so that he can really make an impact late in the season. What's your take on that?
I mean, Clark, I see the exact same thing because you look at it, you go back to 2013 for just a moment. 2013, we didn't see a lot of Derrick Henry early. We did not. Saban held Derrick Henry until the Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma. That was the game. And Derrick went out there and just ran all over Oklahoma, gave Alabama a chance to win that matchup. And a lot of the Bama fans were like, why have we not seen this guy more? Saban was saving him for that moment, and we all saw what Derrick Henry became. The exact same thing with Najee Harris. Saban saved Najee for that 2018 national championship game against Georgia. And that's when he popped onto the scene, and folks were like, whoa, who is this right here? So I think with Justice Haynes, Nick is more than likely doing the exact same thing, saving him for when the big games of the SEC really come up in late October, early November, December. And now with Justice Haynes fresh, whole time in the system, he's saving him for that right moment.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And just real quick, to cover Tommy Rees has only been acclimated to guys that are relatively traditional pocket passing quarterbacks. He not really now there's been times where he's used guys like Tyler Buckner and, used the double, the dual threat aspect of things, but that's not really something that he was always that comfortable with. He did roll it out in that one bowl game last year against South Carolina, yes. But he showed over last season and the season prior, a lot of their mass production came through a downhill running game, ironically. So, I think that we can get back to a power running game. We knew that it was going to be tough against Texas A&M. But that's one thing that we have to be able to understand. Yeah, we can win a game against, like I said Monday, a subpar defense or subpar secondary, I should say, of Texas A&M. But when it gets down to it and we start going up against some really freak athletes later on in the season, we're going to need to be able to make those tight window throws, and we're going to have to be able to establish our will at the line of scrimmage. It doesn't matter how much talent the other side has. Nick Saban has been the most dominant recruiter in the history of football, period. So, Stephen, I appreciate you, brother, and I'd like to hear a little bit of what you have to say, and have a good night.
Appreciate Clark there calling in from Georgia. So this was my thoughts here from the A&M game as we're now totally focused on Arkansas. I knew coming into that matchup that it was going to be tough sledding for Alabama to run the football. This was an A&M front that was number one in the nation. Well, not number one in the nation, but one of the top defenses in sacks, one of the top defenses in tackles for loss, one of the top defenses against the run. I knew coming into last week's matchup, Alabama was going to have a big performance from Jalen Milroe. I even said it, Eli, last week, if Milroe goes for over 300 plus, Bama's going to win the game. And Milroe goes out there and he went for 300 plus. He went for 321 and 3 touchdowns. So this was a good thing to have a matchup to where you couldn't really run the football, so you kind of had one hand tied behind your back. But Milroe shows you, if I got to sling the rock for us to win this, but I'm going to prove to you that I can accurately sling this rock and we're going to win this football game. And Jalen Milroe, by God, he did it. I mean, by God, he went out there in the most craziest environment in college football, and he did it. So, to me, that's a big feather, not just in Milroe's cap, but in the cap of Alabama football, understanding, okay, we want to be able to run the football and impose our will, and there will be moments that we do that. But if there comes a moment where we run up on a team where it's tough sledding and it's like rubbing 2 nickels together to make a dime, trying to average 2 or 3 yards a carry, and we got a quarterback here that has grown in, I got to make that thing shake with my arm? All right then, say less. Throw me in the frying pan. I will make this thing shake with my arm. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's going on, Steve? It's Chad from Miami.
Chad, what's happening with you? How we feeling?
I'm good. You? How are you, man? I saw you were sick on Monday. How you feeling?
Man, appreciate the concern, man. Doing a lot better than what I was on Monday. So got to give a kudos to my wife here, my wife Mia, definitely pumping those fluids in me. So I'm doing a whole lot better.
Glad to hear that, man. I just have a few points for the night. First, I want to start off with saying that Kevin Steele has been doing a great job. There are a few things he can work on, but I mean, the defense is pretty much like what are we, like top 5 in the country?
We're right there, right there.
Yeah, as for the offense, I believe Tommy Reese just continually develop the offense and the playbook, and then also find a third target in terms of receiver or incorporating the tight end, because that's what Notre Dame was known for. And then pretty much just the offensive line cutting down on the penalties and opening better holes for the running backs. My second point is I know we're 11 right now ranked, but I believe by the beginning of next month, we're probably going to be number 5 or so, because the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the Big 12 are pretty much just playing each other now. And most of those teams that are ranked ahead of us are either going to have 1 or 2 losses, and I don't believe those conferences are getting more than one team in the playoffs or championships. And then on top of that, Georgia really hasn't played anybody this year besides Kentucky. And if we make it to the SEC championship and we win, Georgia's definitely not getting in the playoffs because they really haven't played anybody in 2 years, man, besides Ohio State last year in the playoffs. And then my third point is, I believe it was 3 callers ago, he was talking about Justin Haynes not getting playing time. I believe we definitely need to start playing some of the younger guys because we need some depth, especially next year. We have a lot of seniors, or if not, a lot of guys going in the NFL next year. Tresman Marshall at the inside linebacker spot, Dallas and Braswell at the outside linebacker spot, Malachi, he's a senior, Kool-Aid. Terrion actually been balling better than Kool-Aid this year. He's also eligible to go to the draft. Adrian Amos, Jalen Key, they're super seniors, fifth year guys. The entire right side of the offensive line, they're seniors. Dupree's a senior. And then I think 1 or 2 receivers are seniors now. So we got to start incorporating a lot of the young guys so we can have a faster start for next season. So it's not slow like it is again this past season. And then a lot of guys with talent are waiting, man, especially with Malachi Moore out now. We need to start seeing like Earl Little, Jake Pope, or if not, incorporating other guys at the star or safety position and so on and so forth. Because, like I said, a lot of guys that are in the rotation right now, they're not going to be here next year unless they want to come back for their senior year, which I doubt a lot of them will, or if not, they're eligible to get a 6-year plan in the conference. But thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Chad from Miami calling in right there, giving his thoughts on a Wednesday. We got some super chats here to get to, Eli, so let's get to those. And we start off with Don Parker! DP with the $10 donation, dropping that in there. Appreciate Don Parker. Ty Alexander returns with the $4.99 donation, dropping the love in there. Adam Lampolaro comes back with another $10 donation, helping us out right there. And then we got Dale B with the $10 donation as well. That daily super chat goal of $100 has been met. Give yourselves a hand, Bama Nation. You did it. You got that done. You got that done. Call topic right here, folks. Alabama wide receiver Jermaine Burton. Boy, is his draft stock cooking. Boy, is that draft stock increasing right now. Burton, last week, 9 catches, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns against A&M. Jim Nagy, the executive director for the Reese's Senior Bowl, he and his staff were at College Station. Jermaine Burton was awarded the Reese's Senior Bowl Stock Up Player of the Week. His draft stock is trending high right now. Burton, by some draft metrics, high second-round pick. I think if he has another game like he had against A&M, he's a first-rounder. He can be a first-rounder. If he has another couple of games like he had against A&M, then he's going to start the trend toward top 15 range. But right now, Burton's draft stock taking that forward trajectory as he got the Reese's Senior Bowl Stock Up Player of the Week following his performance against the Aggies. But we take our final break here on the show. Don't touch that dab. When we get back, we round things out with this discussion of how has Jalen Milroe grown before our eyes in being a complete quarterback. We'll discuss it after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama. And you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
All right, folks, thank you for all the super chats today, phone calls today, donations today, YouTube chat lining today, making this your show, your spot, your network, your place for all things Bama football. As we're back to the action from the break, hottest show in the streets, talking Bama football in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. And we look at our final discussion here, Eli. This one's on one quarterback, Jalen Milroe, and how he's grown before our eyes in being that complete quarterback that needed to help Alabama win a championship. How has he been able to do this? And it's pretty remarkable how, at the start of the season, a lot of the conversation was, Ty Simpson, a bit more of a better arm talent. Tyler Buckner, he's got the relationship with Tommy Reese coming over from Notre Dame. We even had conversations of the potential of one Dylan Larnigan, the freshman. And yes, he does have outstanding potential. But a lot of the talk of Milroe was, I just don't think he's got the arm, the accuracy, the decision-making to lead this program to a national championship. And we've seen these last 3 to 4, 4 to 5 weeks, Milroe has taken so many steps of growth. South Florida, we saw him benched, did not play, but supported his teammates on the sideline, giving that energy, effort there, motivating his guys. And then against Ole Miss, we saw him take another step of growth, and that was hang in that pocket, manipulate that pocket, stand in the pocket, deliver the football, even when you're taking shots, even when you're taking hits. Against Mississippi State, that next stage of growth was, okay, hitting on those short to intermediate routes, which he did that. And then against Texas A&M, we saw the next box checked, I can win with my arm. You can put the game on me. Like that song, Put It All on Me? You can put the game on me, and I'll go win it with my arm. And Jalen Milroe did that. I remember a stat from Pro Football Focus, which I don't usually like to quote them, but I remember the stat from Pro Football Focus. 6 of Milroe's 21 completions against A&M went for 20-plus yards. That led all quarterbacks in Week 6 of college football. Jalen Milroe with that stat led all quarterbacks in Week 6 of college football. You're seeing growth. You're seeing marquee growth with each passing game. And you're seeing him being able to be calm with his reads, calm with his progressions. You're seeing him be able to target guys downfield in stride with the football. You're starting to see Jalen Milroe's full game come together. No, the stats are not flashy. He's got 13 total touchdowns, 4 picks on the year. No, the stats are not flashy, but they don't need to be. Just come together at the right time. You look back at 2015, which Saban has often compared this team to that 2015 team. People look at the final result of Jacob Coker's stat line from that year, which was 3,110 passing yards, 31 touchdown passes, 10 picks. and they go, well, he threw 31 touchdown passes. He threw for over 3,000 yards. That was the final result. But by mid-season, Jacob Coker was at where Jalen Milroe's at now. Coker mid-season was at, 10, maybe 12 TD passes? 10, maybe 12, with like 3 or 4 picks. And so Jalen Milroe is right there on par with what Coker had mid-season 2015. And Coker went on to catch fire in the latter part of the season and get Bama to a national championship. So Milroe is right there on course to what he needs to do. I'm just happy for the growth he's made. I'm just excited about the steps he's taken. I mean, he has right now shown you why he's the best option at quarterback. He's right now shown you why he's the choice that needed to be made from the get-go at that quarterback position. So, happy for him. And looking forward to seeing what he does this weekend. Homecoming against the Arkansas Razorbacks. But as always, people, you want the best in news, notes, material, entertainment, conversation for Tide football. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app, the iPhone App Store, if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll try to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Got to give a shout out to you, the Bama fans, once again for all the calls today, all the donations, all the chatting, all the super chatting. You making this your spot here for all things Bama football. Got to give that kudos to my man Eli Walker in the production studio, handling that business behind the scenes there. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, smart thing, fun thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there and getting that schoolwork in. School week still in session there. Get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself, you protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.